For decades, the phenomenon of alien abductions has lingered at the edges of human understanding, a blend of fear, fascination, and mystery. Common threads weave through these accounts: strange lights, unearthly figures, fleeting moments of terror. But what happens when an abduction stretches beyond mere hours, when someone vanishes for 5 entire days? Enter the story of Travis Walton, a young man whose life was forever changed one fateful evening in 1975. His harrowing tale remains one of the most infamous and controversial abduction cases in history. Was it an encounter with extraterrestrial life? A government experiment gone wrong? Or a hoax that gripped the imagination of a generation? Let's uncover the truth. The 5th of November was a routine workday for Travis Walton and his 6 crewmates. They were logging in the dense Apache Sitgreaves National Forest, as part of a contract with the U.S. Forest Service. As dusk approached, the men decided to head home in their truck after a hard day's work. But as they drove down a remote forest road, they noticed a strange light in the distance. As the truck got closer, the men saw what they described as a glowing, disc-shaped craft hovering about 15 feet off the ground. It emitted a bright, bluish light and made a faint humming noise. Travis, intrigued and impulsive, jumped out of the truck to get a closer look. His co-workers yelled at him to come back, but he kept approaching the craft. Suddenly, a beam of light shot out from the UFO and struck Travis. The rest of the crew described it as a blue-green ray that knocked him off his feet and flung him backward. Scared and terrified, the crew panicked and drove off, leaving Travis behind. When the crew returned to rescue him a couple of hours later, Travis was gone, and the craft had vanished too. Unsure of what to do, the men reported the incident to local law enforcement in Snowflake. Initially, the sheriff and his deputies suspected foul play. The crew underwent intense questioning, but their accounts remained consistent. Days later, they even took and passed polygraph tests, further baffling investigators. But unexpectedly, 5 days later, on November 10, 1975, Travis reappeared. He was found disoriented, dehydrated, and scared at a gas station about 15 miles from where he had vanished. Travis claimed to have no memory of the 5 missing days at first. But over time, with hypnosis, he began recalling fragmented details of his otherworldly experience. Travis stated that he regained consciousness while lying on a flat surface in what seemed like a sterile, medical-like room. He initially thought he was in a hospital recovering from an injury, but he quickly realized he wasn't alone. 3 short humanoid beings surrounded him, and they were about 4 to 5 feet tall, with large, bald heads, oval-shaped eyes, and small bodies. Their skin was pale, and they wore tight-fitting orange suits. Overwhelmed with fear and confusion, Travis jumped off the table and grabbed a cylindrical object from a nearby shelf to defend himself. Despite his attempts to fend them off, the beings did not retaliate or appear to communicate directly. Instead, they left the room. After the beings left, Travis began exploring the craft. He described the corridors as being curved, with seamless walls that glowed faintly. He entered a room with a single chair in the center, with a hologram-like projection of stars and planets right in front of it, which must have been the command center of the UFO. While moving further, Travis encountered human-like beings. They were taller than the humanoids and looked like humans, with blue eyes. These beings wore tight-fitting, helmet-like headgear, and did not speak but communicated through gestures. They led him to another room without using force. In the new room, Travis was instructed to lie down. He recalled the human-like beings placing a mask over his face, at which point he lost consciousness again. The next thing Travis remembered was him waking up on the ground in the forest, near where he had been abducted. The craft hovered silently above him for a brief moment, before shooting off into the sky. Some UFO researchers theorize that the beings may have intentionally limited his recall, possibly to protect him from the trauma of the full experience. Regardless of the theories, the Travis Walton case quickly became a media sensation, but it was also met with intense scrutiny. Despite the logging crew passing their initial polygraph tests, critics argue that polygraphs are not completely reliable and can be influenced by stress. Doctors who examined Travis found no signs of malnutrition or severe physical trauma, despite his claims of being held for 5 days. However, they noted a small puncture wound on his arm, leading to speculation about possible medical procedures. Some skeptics suggested the incident was a hoax orchestrated by the logging crew, possibly to avoid penalties for not completing their contract. Others proposed it could be a case of mass hysteria or even a drug-induced hallucination. Despite years of scrutiny, Travis has never changed his story. The UFO described by Travis Walton and his crew, a glowing, disc-shaped craft, bears similarities to other well-documented cases like the Lonnie Zamora incident in Socorro, New Mexico 10 years prior, and the Cash Landrum incident which happened in Texas 5 years later. These cases share common elements: strange lights, cylindrical shiny crafts hovering silently, and encounters with alien beings, adding credibility to Travis Walton's story in the eyes of UFO researchers. Nevertheless, the Travis Walton incident has had a lasting impact on popular culture. Travis wrote a book, Fire in the Sky, which was adapted into a 1993 movie of the same name. While the film dramatized certain aspects, it brought the story to a global audience. Travis had also become a regular speaker at UFO conferences, sharing his experience and advocating for more research into alien encounters. So, what do you think? Was Travis Walton the victim of an alien abduction, or was it all an elaborate hoax? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. And be sure to subscribe to the channel for the latest revelations in space exploration. Hit the bell icon to stay updated, and let's continue to explore together.